Yeah, so this is gonna be two recordings because I stopped it on accident and my phone turned off. But yeah, so he leaves off like when Yumi comes downstairs. She's like, they all look at her, and her her face instantly turns red, and she goes upstairs again, and Minato looks like Naruto's like, oh, you be played, I can't have that, and Nito's like, you can't have a girl in your house. She's gonna move out. She's like, there's no way you can't do that because I'm a genin, and if I'm a ninja, and we're both ninjas, so you don't have authority over us. And Mito is like, oh shit, I can't do it. It's like, I'll figure out a way. And so they're still talking to like give no Sasuke to Jutsu, but yeah, like, but and she says no, and he's like, what if I don't? And he's like, they're like, oh, you're gonna regret it because prophecy trials are gonna strike you down. And he's like, prophecy trials, don't make me laugh. And he has like that little smirk on the face you see on the screen, and what's it called? He just sits there and and eventually even you comes downstairs like, you should have told him to just guess. I didn't have any clothes on. He's like, you should have known. And then Mito and Menma getting trained at like peak, bro. They're like, you know how it's like strides, like it took a while to learn stage mode and all that. Nah, bro. He's like concentrate, and they eventually do learn it, and they will learn QB mode after, like in the 1 month time skip, but they do learn stage mode. And yeah, so the tuning exam happens, and what's called in this timeline, Konohamaru so sees Naruto's big brother, and Konohamaru bumps into Garva and the Sand siblings. So what's it called? He was with Yumi, and they were holding hands and all that. So he's Konohama's dream, and he instantly teleports to him because he's did play the right flying riding mark on him. So he sees Kankuro picking up, and he's like, Kankuro, and picking up Konohamaru, and Kankuro's completely shocked to see some guy teleport right by Konohamaru's side, and he's like, put Konohamaru down, like, what are you gonna do? But like, Kankuro's kind of shocked that he's like, this guy's like so fast, even using, and he's like, what if I don't? And he squeezes Kankuro's and he teleports behind Kankuro. There's like a certain distance you can teleport when you're by someone, and he just does that and teleports behind Kankuro, and it says, do that or slice your neck open. And Kankuro lets him go and says like, oh, I don't want any trouble, leave me alone. And he's like, he looks up at Gar and he's like, oh, so you had the same thing inside of you too. But I think he's a little wild. Do you say he's a Tanuki? And like Shikaku's like, what the fuck did you say? Like, what the fuck did you just say to me, boy? And then he like kind of releases bloodlust to the sand trio, and like he dwarfs Gar's bloodlust. So and they're completely and utterly fucking scared of him. And so that happened, and then Mito and Manman come and feel it kind of, but it's so strong. You can't just pinpoint one bloodlust to like a single 3 people. He kind of spread it around, kind of, but yeah. And they like, oh, you can't be not to the weakling, and they say, oh yeah, we learned Sage mode, and Naruto's like, oh, okay, and then he just teleports away with Yumi, so in his hand holding your hand. Because Yumi picked up he picked up Yumi's hand because Yumi picked up Konohamaru and took him away. Then it went back to Naruto, and then the next day the tuning exam happened. Then he go, and then Rock Lee wants to challenge Naruto this time because he was the Rookie of the Year, and Naruto accepts. He's like, oh, I see the warrior opponent, maybe I'll actually let out make sure maybe I'll actually let you what's it called, see my one of my true powers. And he's like, what? And it's like, take off your weights, don't worry, I'll put people in Genjutsu except for Yumi, but I don't need to, he won't say anything. And he does take off his weight and puts everyone in a Genjutsu, so you can't see the fight. He's like, puts them to sleep for like, I don't know, he's gonna wipe their mind after the fight. So they fight, and Naruto like rivaling uh Rock Lee's speed, no problem, since he has a ton of weight on, and he does still have a ton of no, he let go of 500 pounds, so he still has 500 pounds on, but he's like rivaling Rock Lee's speed and overwhelming Rock Lee. And Rock Lee's like, this kid's no joke, but at least he complimented me. And when Guy's hands comes in and stops the fight, because when Rock Lee's buddy is Primary Lotus, no, it's like Primary Lotus, and says you can't use that, you gotta wait. And he sees Naruto rivaling his full speed with no problem, overwhelming him. And he says, so you're gonna become my son's not son. They should be son and power, but he'd be like, my soonest youthful rival. And he's like, sure, I can train him. And at this point in time, he goes and takes the exam, and he just copies off Yumi, because Yumi's hella smart, and he doesn't really need to really, like, he's still dumb but a little book smart, so he and really genius in combat, but he just copies off Yumi because he just copies her handwriting, because how much like his senses have advanced, and just copies off her. And yeah, so that is concludes that and he finishes first, and everyone's shocked. And Beak comes up to him, and he's like, "Yo, you give up already? You pathetic, get out of my class." And Naruto lifts up the paper with all of them right, and Beak is just shocked. He's like, that was just 30 seconds. Me to beat it in 2 minutes. And he's like, oh, he's just that's just full of a father. And he's in the beak is like, oh, and Anka comes busts in the window like usual, busts it, and he's like, and he senses like, he actually opens the eye for like 1 second, senses like, sees Anka's sexy bod before the Fanko, fat Anko. And it's like, oh, say, you're kind of sexy. And Yumi just runs up to him and kind of punches him in the gut, and literally makes him cough blood. He's like, and actually cracks the floor kind of. And he's like, and everybody sees, he's like, don't call her sexy. You know what you want. And everyone's like, what the fuck is this group? And they go in a big, and they go, and yeah, so yeah, they go, and like Anko tries to throw kunai at Naruto as usual, and this time Orochimaru doesn't come to the Forest of Death. So yeah, and he just catches and throws it back way faster, to the point like she shouldn't even notice. And then 2 seconds later, a cut opens on her. I don't know what it's called. And she thinks Naruto's sleeping, but then she realized he has no eyes. I was like, holy, I just messed up on this kid. But yeah. And then Anko releases him on into the woods, and Naruto has a heaven scroll, and he just takes out not Mito, just random squads. Like, has 3 pairs of scrolls, and he see like, and then Menma, Mito, and Sakura come in, and Sasuke turns to Naruto and says, "Oh, we're gonna make you feel the pain, not the pain. Like, he's make you feel that you're so weak and not king compared to our power." And then Naruto's like, "Oh, you want to see?" And Naruto moves 500 pounds of weights, and it absolutely destroys all of them. And they don't even have time to activate Sage Mode, because they still need to meditate to activate Sage Mode. And they haven't figured out like how to meditate and activate Sage and get what's called natural natural energy from shadow clones. But yeah, so they couldn't act from stage one time. He just knocks him out and takes their Earth Skull, knocks Sasuke out, and carries him to the end of the training exams, and he finds Gaara killing people just out of fun, even though they have scrolls, and he's so absolutely like their siblings are absolutely terrified of Gaara, and Naruto comes up to him, he's like, "Yo, you need to stop this. You got your scrolls. Come on." And Tamara's like, "Oh, we should go, Gaara. You should listen to this guy." And Gaara's like, "Nah, I want to challenge you." And he's like, "You can challenge me in the next round or in the finals." And he's like, "Okay." And I'm gonna go to for prelims and then end the video. I'm gonna end the video at the end. But this is supposed to be one part, and yeah, one part in total. So sorry if it comes out like one part comes out later, and yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, but then they do that, and then like he opens like 6 scrolls, like, and then with Gaara and all that, and I forgot Gaara's what's it called. Gaara sends his name, but like Kushina, Kakashi, Kurenai, Asuma. No, you know what? All the Rookie 9 jumped him, not Yumi. And it took him out and took all of her scrolls and left one to fend to like fight so they can fight for it. Original team passed and he still has Kabuto as a spy. Kabuto as a spy and shit and all that. And I didn't go over Kabuto like pulling the cards because not just us D ranks. He didn't do anything for the village or anything. Yeah, so they do it and every fight goes the same. But I'm gonna switch 2 fights and it's gonna be Mito Yumi versus Mito and Yumi versus and let's see Gaara versus Kiba. And Kiba just backs out because he know how Gaara's and I'm gonna go over Naruto versus Rock Lee first, which Naruto says I'm gonna purely use taijutsu, and Naruto and it's like he instantly takes off his weights and Naruto is lessens it 500 pounds. Naruto is actually overwhelming, so he actually activates the second gate. You know the second gate is healing and doesn't actually kill him or hurt him. So he's rallying Naruto's speed, not winning or losing, and Naruto taps him. Naruto what's it called? Releasing my over 5 pounds, and Rock Lee's actually getting really over. He's getting beat up and all that shit, and Rock Lee decides to open all the 5 gates, and he rivals Naruto's speed and says, "Oh, you're gonna die if you keep opening these gates. So I'm gonna give you a little gift for being so strong without having ninjutsu." So he goes up to Lee and taps him on his forehead and gives him Soldier's Sage Pack, six of Sage Pack's powers, and make not anything, some of it, so he can open up the 8 gates without dying, and he feels his power increase. So he says, "Oh, you can open those 8 gates now without dying. What I just did to you was giving you power unimaginable." And Rocky's like, "What'd you say? I could open this 8 gates?" And he actually tries it, and he actually does open it. And he feels there's no backlash. He's actually doing it. He's completely doing it. And Naruto says, "Time to show you respect. That I only show respect to people who are worthy of it, and you and my eyes are worthy." And he opens up the Rinnegan, and everybody's just like gasp. And he has a Rinnegan Sharingan, and they see it, and what's God? He looks like that when he opens it with the red tips. I'm just gonna make his hair a little spikier than like he has, just to make the red tips a little cooler. And Rock Lee actually is beating Naruto in 8 gates. He's actually kind of demolishing him. So Naruto goes back and sits down, makes you 2 shadow clones fight. You know, Rock Lee dispels it easily and activates what's called Dragon Phase mode, and he boosts his ability so much, and he activates Wood Style Stage mode. I'm gonna say this: he can only activate Phoenix Stage mode, which stabilizes and stabilizes what's called the shit called 6-pass Stage mode. So he can't activate both at the same time. He does it, and yeah, he activates it, and he starts like punching rock, like each punch that he punches at Rock Lee actually cracks the ground so much that even a practice like we need to end this match before Rock Lee dies, or even, and at this point Rock Lee, like all of his whole left arm is broken because of how much Naruto's strength. Because Dragon Summoning is like 10 times more powerful than stage mode summoning, or stage mode. So he's pelting Lee and all that, and yeah, and you might be asking, didn't 8 Gates destroy Madara? Which his base mode absolutely destroyed Madara. So when he's add that 10 times more powerful stage mode, he's gonna absolutely wail on Lee. So yeah, so like you can look it up as the stage mode versus Rock Lee, but yeah. But I'm going to Yumi versus Mito next part.